There you go. Strong words from Joe Hart. The players have got to be better than what City already have. Well, let's get a view on that. We're joined by Jason Wilcox, who's the under-18 manager and the director of the academy. Mark Allen, good to see you both. So, on Joe's words, let's start with you. You've got a great player. So you've got an attacking midfielder in the under-18s, really good player. City then signed Raheem Sterling and Kevin De Bruyne. What do you say to that young man?
I don't think you need to say anything to the young players. I think the best players will be inspired by it. I think they visualise themselves playing at the Etihad. I don't think it worries them at all. I think the best players will certainly have a pathway here. The challenge of getting them to the level of playing in the Champions League is a big challenge, but one that we embrace and not fearful of.
Mark, it's been a year since the club moved here. Do you think it's lived up to the expectation of the owners?
I think so, and more than. I think we can all see it's a fantastic facility. But as we said when we came in, it really is about the people you put in it as well. So if you marry those two and you get those right, then hopefully we've got a recipe for success.
Now, all the teams from the under-8s upwards are on this site. How unique is that?
Yeah, I think it's probably a first. I'm not so sure about other academies, but certainly here. It was very much part of the thinking and the logic behind bringing everyone together on one site. So that's football and non-football. And I think we're reaping the rewards of that everyone can see everything that goes on with this football club every day.
So, Jason, 3 players graduated from the elite development squad into the first team squad at the beginning of the season. Kelechi Iheanacho, regular in the first team squad. Does that give your under-18 players a real boost to think, well, actually, this can happen?
Yeah, I think the added bonus of being on the same site certainly alludes to that. I think, if the manager is short of players through injury, etc., he's able to call on some of the younger players, and we've seen that this year, that Cameron Humphreys and Manu have had a chance of training with the first team, and then the first team manager gets a chance to trust them, and I think that's what's happened. And it's fantastic for the younger players. It gives them, like you say, the carrot to go on and keep working hard.
This is a no-excuses environment, isn't it? They've provided everything for you. As the under-18 manager, do you feel a pressure to produce players who will make it into the first team?
Of course there's pressure. I think that's why we want to work here at this great football club. There's a pressure at every football club, but here, you look at the level of players that we've got to get through to our first team. But as I said, it's a real challenge. The youngsters are not afraid of it. We play some fantastic football. And only time will tell. The facility itself is fantastic, but it's the people within it that drive it forward.
Mark, a question now about a specific player, George Evans, who made his debut this season. He's been at the club since he was 8 years old, which is astonishing. How big is his future here, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, George has played for every academy team from under-8s right the way through. So it was a great moment for all of us when he finally made his debut, because I think that's what it's all about, a young lad, a local lad, going right from the very sort of early stages all the way through the system. I think George has got a very bright future in football. It's a very difficult team to get into, we know that, but George has acquitted himself and shown that he's good enough to get into that team.
Yeah.
But Mark, your job is more than just about football, isn't it? I mean, I've been here over the last few days and I keep being told it's about producing not just better footballers, but better people. So how do you go about doing that?
Yeah, I think we have a holistic approach to how we develop players, and we have it's very much part of our philosophy: great people, great players. So the emphasis on great people is big as well. So we do that through many things, in terms of some of the values and standards we have here, through the education programme, right the way through to sort of working in the community. We're trying to give the boys the broadest education, in inverted commas, that we can, which includes football on and off pitch.
Jason, one more question for you. I gather the under-18s sometimes train with the women. Why is that something that you do here?
I think it was in the very early stages of the women's team being formed that there was 6 internationals, I think. And they didn't have a full-time programme, so the idea was for them to train with us at the time so they could train full-time. And I think it was really successful. Now they've got a full-time programme themselves, so very rarely do they train with us, but if on the odd occasion there's a player coming back from injury and the girls are not training, then they'll train with us, train with some of the younger age groups. And it's fantastic to have the women around, I've got to say.
Gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. Hi, good morning and welcome along. We're at the Manchester City Football Academy this morning, a year on from its official opening. And it's here that the current and future Manchester City players develop their skills.
We've got loads more to come this hour. Here are a few of the highlights.
Maybe it was a risk to pay for Kevin those amount of money, but we were so sure that in the style that we play, he will be successful.
We pay so much attention now, whilst we're a young club in this new era, to just be ahead of everyone on everything.
We've come to a point and a level where we're trying to win everything.
Hopefully, at some point, he'll come back and manage Manchester City. That's the ambition for him, it's the ambition for us.
Also this hour, Liverpool have lost for only the second time under Jurgen Klopp. But should Alberto Moreno's goal against Newcastle have stood? We'll get Klopp's verdict.
And 30 seconds into the biggest match in US soccer, probably best not to take a risk. Find out if Columbus Crew could recover from that in the MLS Cup final.
Well, we're at Manchester City, so let's start there then. And the club has told us they want Patrick Vieira to return in the future as manager. He wants to do that too. He starts as head coach at New York City FC in the new year.
He began life as a coach with our elite development squad, and he's gone from strength to strength. And I think it was important that we wanted to keep him within the family, and we wanted to grow and develop him, like we do all our coaches, like we do all our medical team or our scouting team. I think that if you have good people, you need to make sure that you're developing them. They have to feel like there's a future here for them. And so it was important for us that we could find the next development stage for Patrick, and it was still part of the group. And that opportunity came about in New York, and we're really excited. He's really excited by it, and I think it's exactly the next step that he needs. And hopefully, at some point, he'll come back and manage Manchester City. That's the ambition for him. It's the ambition for us. And but he has to go through this kind of learning curve.
Well, Manchester City have named Vieira's replacement. For more on that, we can join Ben Ransom.
We've been allowed access to the first team gym here at the City Football Academy. It is state-of-the-art. This is absolutely everything that £200 million buys you. You probably can see a couple of the City staff up there getting in early for a session. The players themselves will be coming into the training complex in the next hour or so. And I'm delighted to say I'm joined by the new under-21s coach here, Simon Davis. Simon, first of all, congratulations on the new role. What's been your remit from the club? What have you been told to achieve with this side?
Just to keep that progression of the young players coming through. We've got some talented young players from local and across Europe, and like always, like at most football clubs, it's to try and find them that pathway into the first team, which is achievable, but is really difficult at a quality side like we've got.
We've been given a glimpse today of just some of the facilities on offer here at the City Football Academy. They are absolutely mind-blowing from a first-team perspective, but also from an academy point of view as well.
Yeah, I think I mean the boys have got every opportunity to now to achieve their goals, if you like, because anything they've got in terms of medical, sports science, obviously the football, there's kind of no excuses for them and for us to give it our best shot, and making sure along the way that we don't get complacent with what we've got around us, but appreciating it and using it to achieve their potential.
Yeah, you mentioned that expectation. How much pressure is there on you to succeed and bring players from that academy into that first team?
Yeah, there's pressure. Of course, there's pressure. It's my job, and it's the team around me, and all the way through the academy. These are the nice bits that you're seeing today, but the hard work behind the scenes, if you like, day in, day out, is imperative to achieve the high standards that the first team produce week in, week out.
Well, Patrick Vieira now moving on to New York City, staying within the football family as it was here, and yourself being promoted from within. How much of an opportunity is this for you?
Yeah, I'm privileged. I really feel lucky, and I'm looking forward to working hard, continuing with that. I've got a new set of staff as well, because some of the staff are going with Patrick, so that'll all be gelling in the coming months. But we're just looking forward to carrying Patrick's good work on and developing these young players.
And just finally, what does success look like from your point of view?
Success is getting the young players a career, first and foremost. and hopefully that's in our first team. And then we've got a duty of care to make sure that we maximise their potential at whatever level they end up at. So we need to make sure we do our best by the boys to fulfil their talent.
Simon Davis, thank you very much. The best of luck with your new role as well. Simon Davis now the new under-21 coach here at Manchester City, replacing Patrick Vieira, who's gone off to New York. His challenge is to try and bring some of those players into the first team, and I'll be chatting to a couple of those hopefuls in a little while here on Sky Sports News HQ.
Now, it's not just...
Now, it's been a magnificent year for women's football, and Manchester City women flying high as well. I'm delighted to say that England and Manchester City defender Lucy Bronze joins us now. Very good morning to you, Lucy. Thanks for coming to talk to us. It's been a superb year for you. Player of the Year at the FA Women's Football Awards. You had a magnificent World Cup. Has 2015 been a breakthrough year for the sport, for women's football?
Yeah, definitely, I think it has. I think the clubs are all thriving, moving forward, and obviously we did a good job at the World Cup, finishing third and getting that bronze medal, beating the Germans. You know, there was so many things this year that people could celebrate with women's football, and you know, everyone wanted to celebrate them with us. You mentioned the World Cup. Has the performance at the World Cup changed people's perception about the women's game? I'd like to think so. You know, we're getting more crowds at both England games, you know, Manchester City games, all the other teams in the league. So there's definitely a boost in crowd attendance and people wanting to know who we are and getting more involved with the teams and the clubs. And yeah, it's definitely an exciting time to be part of women's football. It's exciting for us to be here as well. The facilities are absolutely magnificent. You signed here at the beginning of last season. How do the Manchester City facilities compare to any of the other clubs that you've worked with? In terms of women's football, head and shoulders above the rest. I mean, some of the things that we get is probably better than a lot of men's Premier League teams as well. So to say as a women's team that we have such a high standard is unbelievable. And I know there's a lot of clubs out there, you know, Chelsea and the Arsenal ladies, that want to kind of push on and replicate kind of things that we have. Yeah, it is amazing, isn't it, as well? How much a part of the club as a whole, do the women feel? We're 100% a part of the club. You know, we train sometimes with the boys, the under-18 boys. We're in and around the academy all the time. We share all the facilities with everyone. You know, we're off across to the first team side a lot. You know, it's just like we're another normal team within the club. It's not separated women's, boys or anything. It's amazing to be a part of such a club that kind of allows that kind of treatment, because it's unheard of really in women's football. So real interaction and with the first team as well? Yeah, you know, we get across sometimes. Their side's very much their side and we have our side, so it's not like, oh, we need to interact, but you know, we do see them every day, training on the field, say hi and whatnot, and it's nice to feel part of a club like that. Yeah, real inspiration as well. Now, you're in the UEFA Women's Champions League for the first time next season. Just tell us how exciting that is as a player. Yeah, I mean, I've played in the Champions League before with other teams, and it's the biggest competition for a club, and for Man City to finally be in it in our first time, and with everything that we've got and the future that we have, it's so exciting. And I mean, all the girls can't wait to get involved in it and start playing the games. Well, Lucy, thank you very much for talking to us this morning, and best of luck for next season. Thank you. We're at Manchester City's Football Academy a year after its opening.
We certainly are. There's some straight talking from Joe Hart on City's youth players coming up. Let's now, though, take a look at how City's academy has played a key part in the regeneration of the area.
A vision 6 years in the making. The CFA is now the place Manchester City's players, academy and football club staff call home. But this has always been about more than creating a state-of-the-art training base.
The street to stadium dream. It's something we've talked about for 40 odd years in this country, where, you know, young kids can kick a ball about on the street and see and aspire to join their academy, and the academy scholars can see and aspire to be part of the first team, and all of them can see and touch and smell the world stage of football, the stadium that they all aspire to play in, and we've actually delivered that here in Manchester.
It wasn't so long ago this 84-acre site looked very different. Despite the challenging landscape, Manchester City roots run very deep here. The original club was founded just a mile away in Gorton.
There was 130, 140 years or so of really heavy industry on this site. The production of dye stuffs really for textiles. There were old gas works and stuff that really you wouldn't really do these days in the middle of a city. But it was about being responsible as well as visionary for the future, and turning a site round that was locally a polluted area that was difficult for local people to one that we now think is both productive for football but actually incredibly positive for our city.
2,000 trees were planted as part of the regeneration. Local materials were used in the project, which includes a community leisure centre and the area's only sixth form college. And 80% of the workforce also come from the city.
This is first team pitches, so the amount of quality that goes into them is absolutely incredible, and the time that we put into them.
It feels really good, doesn't it, to do a pitch and then to get to the end of it and you're like, that looks good.
Apart from it gets racked in about 90 minutes, but that's fine.
I do think not only is this life-changing, but for a great many people it's life-saving, and that's really something fundamental that we need to hang on to. And as individuals in this game and in this industry and in this club, we can make huge differences.
City's community programme also benefits from their new home, with almost 5,000 participants coming through the gates since it opened a year ago. The millions might have come from the Middle East, but there is a clear determination here to leave a lasting legacy in Manchester East. Ben Ransom, Sky Sports.
Now, Stan.
So we're at Manchester City's training ground, of course. The players are arriving for training. Ben Ramson is over by the first team area. Ben.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. It is a little bit blustery actually out here, so you've done well to stay in the warm as the clouds roll in. It's a big day here at Manchester City. We've been bringing you behind the scenes a little bit about the City Football Academy. It's £200 million investment here. We've come over to the first team side. The players all arrive here of a morning between the hours of kind of 9 and 10, get themselves changed, all the facilities they could ever want in there, and they get out on the training pitch where Manuel Pellegrini puts them through their paces. And I'm very pleased to be outside that just arrived Wilfred Bonney. Wilfred, you were a player who has only ever known the City Football Academy since you signed from Swansea in January. What sort of facility is it to work in, day out?
I think it's one of the best facility in Europe. So it's great. You can see how many pitch we have. I think the team, the club did well to build that facility. I think we enjoy it.
It's amazing, isn't it, to think that not that many years ago we're still on the site of where there was a factory, a soap works, a gas works, and you look around now and the grass is lush and the trees are in full bloom.
Yeah. I was not here a couple of years ago. I'm just my first year. So I can say we really enjoy it because the club did well to build it. It's very nice. I think for us as the football players, we really enjoy to train in that in the pitch, to train in the gym, everything. So I think everything is set up very well.
Just how much of a factor was this when you signed from Swansea in January, when you first walked through these gates for the first time?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable because how many pitch we have here, and the place, and then we sleep here before the games. It's unbelievable, I can say.
Is it something you talk about with your teammates and club mates, perhaps at other clubs?
Well, yeah, I can say when they ask me how I was here, I told about everything here. So I think we have a great staff and a great pitch to train, and the staff inside, so everything is very well here.
We've been taking the viewers on Sky Sports News HQ behind the scenes a little bit today, showing them some of the areas that perhaps we're not always given access to, and you get the sense of the amount of time that you guys spend here, because there's absolutely everything you could ever need.
Yeah, yes, everything. You can we can spend the time with our family here. Sometimes when they make a decision when the family can come, and the friend also. I think everyone is happy here.
How much of a change is it being able to stay in the hotel here as well, or in your own private rooms before games? Does that help you as a player?
Yeah, it's helped me. You know, it's different when I was in Swansea. Yeah? You know, we only sleep in hotel when we play away, so we stay at home. So when I'm come here, I need to adapt to that and try to adapt myself to that. You know, it was not easy in the beginning, but I used to know now. I think the room is comfortable, so we are happy and we enjoy the time here.
And this whole facility is about bringing academy players through, isn't it, through the age groups and hopefully aspiring to join you guys in the first team. How much interaction do you have with the younger boys, the EDS squad and the under-18s as well?
I've been training with them a couple of times. I think they're doing very well. You know, there's from Kalichis from there, and a couple of players come also from a young team to train with us. So I think the team there, they are doing very well. The coach Patrick doing very well there with them. So I think it's good for the youngest players to see a facility like that, to give them a chance to produce more and to be happy also to come to train.
And do you know what Manuel Pellegrini's got in store for you guys today?
I don't know. We done a bad result last week, so we just need to be focused for tomorrow games.
Well, the very best of luck. Thank you very much. Wilfred Bunny joining us here live on Sky Sports News HQ. We've been allowed into the CFA. He's got to go and get himself changed. And then they're going to have Champions League open training, so we'll get a little bit of that and we'll bring it to you here on Sky Sports News.
Thanks very much, Ben. Now, Manuel Pellegrini has told us he took a risk by spending £54.5 million on Kevin De Bruyne in the summer. De Bruyne had an unsuccessful spell in the Premier League with Chelsea, but the Manchester City manager was in no doubt it was money well spent. We had a chat, they had a chat in the press conference, Mike and Manuel, here at the Academy.
Maybe it was a risk to pay for Kevin that amount of money when he was here before in the Premier League, but we were so sure that in the style that we play he will be successful, that if you ask me, I think that we are very happy. I said at the beginning that you never know if a player is a very expensive player or a cheap player. It will depend on in the way the season, the way we develop in the season. If you don't win any silverware, maybe you will receive a lot of criticism about the players that you brought. But if you ask me so far, I think that both of them, nobody else is talking about the amount of money that we pay. They are talking about the performance that they have. It's very important when you bring so expensive players, is the age of the players. And I think that both of them are very young players, 21 and 25 years old. Now we hope that we will be more happy when we finish the season if we win the title.
Well, that's the manager. Now let's hear from the captain. Vincent Kompany has told us City have the potential to be a bigger club than rivals Manchester United, but it will take time.
We're still at the beginning of a very long journey for this club, you know. We've achieved a lot and people have seen numbers flying around, so straight away they've said, well, you know, this club should be ahead of clubs that have done it for maybe 20, 30, 40 years, you know, which is, you know, it's not appreciating how tough it was to come into this whole Premier League and still do it, you know. This club has got still an important margin in the sense that, you know, we're still building on our identity, you know, waiting for the first players to retire maybe and come back into the system to maybe be like figures. You've got Beckenbauer at Bayern Munich, you've got a lot of people at Man United, you've got a lot of people at other big clubs. You know, you can't buy this. It's just time that's gonna make it happen, and then, you know, eventually we'll be that club as well. But I think we can be ahead of them by the fact that we pay so much attention now, whilst we're a young club in this new era, to just be ahead of everyone on everything. We've dreamt for the stars, and you know, we've been able to get hold of some of them. We just wanted to continue.
Now, let's get a closer look at the Football Academy. When you first enter the building, you're greeted with this message by owner Sheikh Mansour. We are building a structure for the future, not just a team of all-stars. Well, this quote is from 2008, 4 years before City won their first of 2 Premier League titles. Motivational slogans play a key part in the decor, and they can be seen throughout the building. Sergio Aguero scored the winner to secure the title in 2012, and the timing of the goal is immortalised in one of the 3 gyms. Well, the gyms are on the first floor where players can focus on their strength and conditioning, Pilates and technical skills. There's also a hypoxic chamber of treadmills for the players to run at altitude, and there are 6 swimming pools. Well, the dressing room and meeting rooms are circular following a consultation with the players, and this is where we were earlier with Pablo Zabaleta. And this is the first team boot room where plenty of bright colours are on display. Up on the second floor we have the players' lounge, also the canteen, as well as a 56-seater television auditorium where the team can study training clips. The third floor is entirely reserved for players' bedrooms. Well, there are a total of 16 football pitches which are kept watered by an 8.1 million litre underground tank which collects and recycles rain. And the Academy Stadium pitch is used mainly by the elite development squad, Manchester City women, and for youth games. There's also a specialised high pitch designed for the goalkeepers.
Well, the man responsible for those pitches is the grounds manager, Roy Rigby. And Roy's been here, what, since 2001?
Correct.
I
yes.
bet you can't believe the transformation in this club.
No, I can't believe it. Where we were when I come in 2001 and where we are today, it's completely been transformed.
What was it like when you were at Platt Lane or Carrington compared to this?
We compare Platt Lane, when I was there, is that when you look at the pitch at Platt Lane, we had no irrigation system. What we used to do is to put water on the pitches with like an hose pipe. So things have really, really changed in a big way.
With a hose pipe?
Yes, with an hose pipe.
So I guess, I mean, we're looking around here, you've got your boys working, mowing behind us there. 16.5 pitches with that goalkeeper's pitch. How many staff work underneath you here now?
I've got 14 staff over at the CFA, the Academy Training Centre, and I've got 3 full-time staff work at the Etihad Stadium.
And so you're grounds manager, is that for the group? So do you have to go to New York and to Australia and so on?
Yes, I go to New York and I give advice out to New York. I go out to Melbourne City as well, our sister club there, and I've done quite a few projects out in Abu Dhabi.
Tell us about these pitches here. Are they the same dimensions as the Etihad Stadium across the road?
Yes, they are. The pitches are 105 by 68 metres, like for like for the Etihad Stadium. We have 8 Deso grass master pitches, and we have, I think it's 8 fibre sand pitches as well. So we've got quite a lot of pitches there as well. So it's like for other football clubs.
Is this your dream job?
Without a doubt, yeah. When you think where I were when I first come to the club and where I am today, I count myself very lucky and I pinch myself every day when I come to work.
I bet
completely
you do.
love my job.
Roy, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thanks for joining us. Roy Rigby, grounds manager.
Plenty more to come from Manchester City's Football Academy, where it's access all areas as we mark the 1-year anniversary.
Well, it's been quite a day today. Many thanks to Manchester City for looking after us. They've been absolutely brilliant. We've had a great day. And, yeah, for a Manchester City fan, it's been a bit like Christmas Day today, so that's handy. This is Chappie, the kit man, who's in his own light blue kit.
Looks like it needs a little bit of help with the kit there, as it's been held together with sellotape.
And some shoddiness.
Anyway, thanks very much, Manchester City. We've had a great time, and I hope you've enjoyed getting the inside track on a Premier League club. And there's been more as well. India have